Come back to Muhammad. Go back to do. Okay, is it working? A little bit. David's white. Very cool. Is MAGA in the closet? I don't know. MAGA might be in the closet. There's a good chance they are. I mean, they talk like they are. Shout out to Ghislaine Maxwell, the most trustworthy person of all time, clearing Trump. We can definitely trust everything she says. She gave Trump the same quote she gave Epstein. She never saw him in any compromising positions. So shout out Ghislaine Maxwell. I hope you are freed soon. Free Ghislaine. Adam Mockler, really good young star, rising star in left media. Put up a video. I turned a CNN panel to chaos on live TV. I have been gone the past few days, so I have not commented much on the DC military occupation from Trump.
Here are the facts. When you ask the residents that Trump is claiming to help, they say that they oppose it at a 79% rate. 61% of them feel less safe. When you ask them what they care about the most, it's not homicides, it's not carjackings, it's Trump's occupation of D.C. So the question then becomes, who are we helping here? Who are we helping here? The idea that public policy isn't meant to serve the public in D.C. is absolutely absurd when Trump was claiming he was helping the public. So the question that I then want to ask is, why don't we mobilize the National Guard to the 8 out of 10 red states that are the highest homicide states? If this decreases crime, and that's sufficient enough to mobilize...
Scott Jennings, being such a sassy, pampered, powdered up faced asshole. CNN pays him a ton of money to spew absolute propaganda, anti-American propaganda, on the show every night. And look at the sassy look he gives when Adam says just factual information.
10 red states that are the highest homicide states. If this decreases crime, and that's sufficient
look at that face.
Enough to mobilize the National Guard against the explicit will of the people of D.C., why is the National Guard not marching through the streets?
The law, he was already quoted.
I'm not talking about the law.
Hey everybody, Adam Mockler here. I just got off of CNN Newsnight with...
I get it, you're awesome, all right? We get you're amazing. I want to watch your clip.
Thank you all so much.
Do you see really that this trolling of Trump and social media, which is doing gangbusters for Gavin Newsom's social media accounts, what's the pathway to actually bringing voters back to the Democratic Party? Because the internet is not real life. That is the truth. And I'm not sure I'm seeing Democrats understanding that.
Well, there's two parts to it. First, you have to drive the attention, then you drive the narrative. So right now, he's getting the attention piece in the attention economy, and he's doing it quite well. He's getting millions of views. I also don't agree that Obama's twisting himself in pretzels. I think it's a completely logical statement. Norms in a democracy work a lot like consent. You can't have meaningful consent when only one side is engaging in that, and you can't have meaningful norms when one side is engaging. So when Obama says, we're okay with temporary redistricting, that's what it is, temporary redistricting, proportional to what Texas is doing, I don't think that's very hypocritical. But when it comes to Newsom, get the attention, drive the narrative. That's what Democrats should do.
I think the Democrats are hemorrhaging voters because they've chosen all the wrong constituencies. They seem to care more about illegal aliens than American citizens, violent criminals than law-abiding citizens, and the Palestinian flag more than the American flag.
That is not true, and that is
when you take those positions on things like that, people tend to run to the other party. And
is there one mainstream Democrat that said he likes illegal immigrants over?
And you know that's not necessarily
Chris Van Hollen? There's one.
You said that?
Chris Van Hollen.
He met with Kilmar Armando Abrego Garcia, who was brought back to the United States. The administration conceded that he was sent there wrongfully, so Chris Van Hollen...
I mean, if you want to keep going down this road...
All right, Alencia.
You claim that...
Yeah, and now when Trumpers call into my show, all they do is say, oh, it's an 80-20 issue. They don't even try to make arguments anymore. And on DC, they say, oh, there was no murder in 8 days in DC. And then you bring up how there were periods, along the year where there were no murders for 7 days or 14 days or 16 days. It was not the result of a military crackdown of authoritarianism in America, all right? But they will use it as an argument. Then you prove them wrong, and they retreat to other points. This is why Democrats lose. That's all they say. And if you call into my show right now, I guarantee you have the same arguments.
Hold on. As someone who does a lot of messaging in the Democratic Party, we do have a messaging issue. But the real thing here is that we have to go to these voters and talk to them about the pain that they are feeling before
Which voters? Okay, I understand the idea we need to talk to people about what they're experiencing. But right now in America, they are on drugs. They are on drugs. They are high off a media supply that makes them laugh, makes them feel connected, makes them feel scared even. It's a form of addiction. It's a form of traumatic stress. It's a mental issue as well. There's so many disorders happening right now from the internet where people are not connected to their material conditions. We live in a rich country. It would take a big drop in material condition for people to really care directly about that. The media, what seems cool, matters more right now than just policy messaging. And I care about policy 100%. I definitely care about policy, but you need to say it in a way where people are going to relate to it, or it doesn't matter.
Or we bring the policy solution, because we do have the policy solution.
Okay, that's good.
We just have to figure out a better way of listening to our voters. And I think we are in this crisis right now.
It's more a
where
framing
we are forced
thing.
to do that. And I do believe
And
that
the right
Democrats
people.
can come back and gain these voters back.
President Trump dipping his toe in the socialism pool. Some of his recent moves have the government's hands firmly involved in a number of business dealings. For example, in an unusual move, NVIDIA has agreed to give 15% of its revenue from...
Like, if you look at young men and how much they voted for Trump, I guarantee you, like, Gavin Newsom posting like that would get those young men's vote, just because, ha, he's funny on Twitter, ha, he's making the other people mad, they're triggered, huh. Like, people do vote off this stuff. It's a vibes thing.
chip sales to China to the United States government. And in June, Japan's Nippon Steel was allowed to buy out U.S. Steel, but only if the White House was granted a golden share that gives them extraordinary amounts of influence over a U.S. company. And Trump has even leveraged his tariff policy to demand investment in the United States. And just last week, he demanded Goldman Sachs replace its chief economist over their tariff predictions. And yesterday, Bloomberg reported that the administration is discussing taking a 10% share in Intel to help rescue the company.
I like how the news headlines where it's like Donald Trump has forced Intel to have American government own 10% of their company while he rolls out the military to 19 Democratic states. And also, Ghislaine Maxwell is floated for a pardon as she clears Trump's name, reading off a script in some type of recording. Like, all those headlines coming out at the same time are crazy. Trump puts up a picture of him and Putin saying, wow, me and Putin look so good in this picture. All those things happening at the same time. Putin just bombed an American company in Ukraine, and Trump had nothing to say about it at all. Like, Russia bombed an American company on our stock market list, like listed on our stock market, and Trump does not care. Like, all those things happening at the same time, and MAGA will look at you, shit in their pants, all right, smile at you, and say, haha, liberal, I shit in my pants, now you gotta smell it. It's like, no, bro, we all gotta smell it. You don't gotta shit in your pants, we all gotta smell it, all right? I get you don't like us, but, like, we gotta work together for this country. You don't gotta shit your pants to prove a point. All this stuff is bad for America. And yes, Trump using the government force to nationalize and socialize and whatever, you know, take government ownership, take like a central command, a central planning perspective on these companies is more socialistic, and the way people use the word socialism is more communist in terms of Russia and China, is more communist and socialist than anything any Democrat, including Zoran Mamdani, Bernie Sanders, or AOC combined, has proposed. Like, they have not proposed going this far. Yeah.
But if you think calling any of this socialism is a bridge too far, well, conservative Eric Erickson thinks that that is exactly what it is.
The U.S. government would become the largest shareholder of Intel. This is actual socialism happening by a Republican administration. This is a horrible precedent. This is socialism. All of you people were freaked out about Mamdani in New York City wanting government-run grocery stores and saying the people need to seize the means of production. That's what Harold Lutnick is doing right now.
Now, to be fair, when Zoran Mamdani said the people need to seize the means of production, that's better than the state doing it through authoritarian means, okay? So the people seizing means of production can be social democracy, meaning there's going to be a vote, or democratic socialism where there's a vote for how this public stake is managed. Or if there's a sovereign wealth fund, like in Norway or something, the public has a say in how that wealth fund is managed. So the people owning means of production is actually way better, way better than the state doing it in a unilateral way. remember that. What Trump's doing right now is more authoritarian by far than socialism. This is state command economy like China and Russia.
Saying that the government must seize the controlling interest in Intel, the means of production, in order to get government money.
No, but the people seizing means of production would be done through a legislature. It'd be done through Congress, at least, in our democratic republic. It would not be done by the executive unilaterally for his own means.
You
and
can't just be against socialism when the left does it.
Phil, can you respond to that? Because I think it is perplexing that conservatives would be okay with all of that.
The idea that Donald Trump's not going to have influence, that's silly. He's absolutely going to have influence, but he's not weighing in and destroying the free market. He's not doing what Biden did, which is going in and trying to reshape the entire auto industry in his image. What he's really doing right now is he's saying there are better ways, but the free market capitalist
Wait. Are you talking? What are you talking about when you talk about Biden and the auto industry?
Oh gosh, did you not see what he did? There was no demand for EVs to the extent that the Biden administration wanted, so they regulated it into existence. They
Giving tax credits and subsidies to encourage investment in a certain sector is not the same as the government becoming a stakeholder and owning parts of companies and nationalizing companies.
Funded it to make sure it had subsidies to survive.
And
then when the subsidies went away,
they will support it. This is a former Alabama state senator justifying nationalizing an American company right now because he's playing that game Republicans love to play. First to the damn knee pads. First to the knee pads. They got to get down there and start doing you know what to Trump.
The industry collapsed, which was a clear indication that industry was not ready for its day.
Okay.
You keep citing the free market, but politicizing companies and allocating capital politically is not the free market. Supply and demand is the free market. And you say that Biden reshaped the EV industry in his image.
Oh, yeah,
Trump is reshaping the entire tariff global order in his image. He's placing tariffs on countries that make no sense whatsoever.
I told you had to buy a certain vegetable at the store, and if you didn't like it, that was just too bad. That was the only one you could buy, and I was going to subsidize that vegetable industry. And oh, by the way, I was going to regulate that by the time 2030 came along. That's the
he did not say you're mandated to buy only EVs.
only vegetable you could buy.
If I told you I'm going to place tariffs on every single country with no discretion whatsoever, and you're going to say he's not reshaping the global order when it comes to that?
Have you seen the budget that we had last year or last month? We actually had a budget surplus for the first time ever. The tariffs are working.
Sheila, hold on. Sheila, first of all, it is not true that you can't go to an auto dealer and buy a non-EV car. So that is not an accurate description.
I said he was reshaping the market.
Yeah, but you described it as if the government were telling people that they can't go get something else at the car dealership when they...
It also did not reshape the market. It did not reshape the market. It gave a small boost to an industry they want to encourage.
Absolutely
Have you seen California?
But the other, you can't.
Through policies that our Congress passed. What Trump did is also illegal. Remember that.
To have better public safety and more reasonable safety standards within Washington, D.C.
So now it doesn't matter, Scott Jennings, that voters are not happy with what Trump's doing, don't feel safer, all of that.
I don't care what they think. I mean, these are the same people who elected the mayor and city council that ran the city's public safety into the ground in the first place.
You don't care what the residents...
They don't know what's good for them.
You don't care what the residents of D.C. think.
I do not. I do not care one bit, and I'll tell you something else.
I feel like I do remember just a couple weeks ago you were saying, well, secretly, D.C. residents really want this because they know the crime is so bad.
I don't know
now
what
we
they
actually
want.
have the numbers that
need.
say, will Trump's federal takeover...
I don't care what they want. I care what they need. Okay, the Republican Party saying, I don't care what the people want, I know what they need. We need the federal government and the military to come down to eliminate all crime. The voters don't matter. The people do not matter. The populace does not matter. What matters is the big government can say, we need the military in your streets right now, and you cannot argue with it. We can just take away your local elected officials when we say so because we know what you need. Where else does that happen? And conservatives always say, crime is too high everywhere in America. We have to lower crime. By the way, they'll never have that conversation about guns in America. But there's no crime in North Korea, all right? There's very low crime in Russia and China because the government does all the crime. People are not safer in these military states. You should have local law enforcement that's separate from the military. Local law enforcement that is held accountable by the people who pass the budgets and the people who run the cities and local jurisdictions. It should not be the military coming in to enact authoritarian control over areas that do not want it, with the National Guard, with the Marines, Secret Service, and all these other different things. And now Trump wants to send that military, the actual military, he says, into these states for for no reason at all. It's an authoritarian power grab. If you want to lower crime, obviously. It's dumb even making an argument because they don't care about the arguments, but you would focus on actual solutions. Look at Baltimore, all-time high decrease in murders in Baltimore this year. No one cares about that, though.
reduce violent crime. 65% say no, just 20% say yes. Do you feel like the presence of federal officers makes you feel safer, more safe, 18%, less safe, 61%?
Why would they say that?
Here are the facts. When you ask the residents that Trump is claiming to help, they say that they oppose it at a 79% rate. 61% of them feel less safe. When you ask them what they care about the most, it's not homicides, it's not carjackings, it's Trump's occupation of D.C. So the question then becomes, who are we helping here? Who are we helping here? The idea that public policy isn't meant to serve the public in D.C. is absolutely absurd when Trump was claiming he was helping the public. So the question that I then want to ask is, why don't we mobilize the National Guard to the 8 out of 10 red states that are the highest homicide states? If this decreases crime, and that's sufficient enough to mobilize the National Guard against the explicit will of the people of D.C., why is the National Guard not marching through the streets?
The law.
But one thing, because what Adam just said was something that we asked here.
Someone said that regulations for cars in California in 2030 is communism. No. You can disagree with government regulation, but regulation is regulating markets, okay? Regulating a market and telling Intel, for example, they have to pay a tax for something, a carbon tax or a production tax or a tariff or whatever else, telling them they need to do that is a regulation. If you want to do communism in terms of, the modern definition of communism, with state command economies and central planning, that central control is key. So the government runs the companies, they own the companies, they tell exactly what needs to be produced, how it's going to be produced, where the money's going to go, how it's going to be done, and that kind of stuff. They make the actual decisions. Regulations passed by a legislative body is different from a full authoritarian control or nationalization of companies. But communism just means things I don't like to you. But
at the table yesterday. Why not address violence in all these other parts of the country?
Not enough Democrats.
Why, I'm not saying that President Trump should do it, but all these red state governors have the ability to mobilize their National Guards within their own states. Why aren't they doing it?
Right now, I don't think they feel the need to. But right
even
now,
though the
Home Rule
violence
Act,
levels are higher in some of those
states
cities
don't
than
have
they
a
are in
Home Rule
DC.
Act, but they.
the Home Rule Act for DC is for DC because it's a district, it's a federal district. It's different from a state, which does have the ability to use National Guard. This guy, he knows that too. He was what was he again? A statewide elected official in Alabama.
You have a governor.
No, but they have a governor and they have a National Guard that's under the control of the government.
We're talking about DC, right?
No, but okay, she's comparing you numbnuts, dipshit, asshole, disgusting, piece of shit. She's comparing like Mississippi, Jackson, Mississippi, has like a triple murder rate of DC. Baton Rouge and New Orleans, Louisiana has like double or triple the death rate of DC. Tennessee, Memphis has a higher murder rate, like 3 times the murder rate of DC. North Charleston, we have Cleveland. Like these are states, red states, where if they really wanted to do their plan for an authoritarian military crackdown of these areas, they could use the National Guard here. But these states are sending the National Guard to DC for political reasons. Everything right now is political. Usually you have disagreements and partisanship, maybe some bipartisan moves, maybe an attempt to make America better in a good faith nature. You have disagreements on a good faith basis and you come to a conclusion off that, and different delegated powers and different checks and balances. But right now, everything is political. Rating John Bolton, political. There's no actual standard for legality, for principle, for anything at all in America. But these assholes, they just won't answer the question. And you have to understand these propaganda goblins are going to do that.
Or crime.
Do you not see the difference between our national capital and every other city?
You're saying that the National Guard is a defeater of crime, but then you refuse to endorse the National Guard being put in other states. You're going to say the National Guard is lower
I'm arguing that the national capital, Washington, D.C., exists in a different federal zone, as was pointed out.
Yeah, but that is only
it's our national
as it relates
capital.
to
I'm sorry, it is different
Scott,
than Memphis
it
or
is
whatever.
only as it relates to Donald Trump's role in this whole thing. The president's, that's what I'm saying. When it comes to the rest of the country, governors have the I'll let you get it. Governors have the authority to do what Trump is doing, and they are not doing.
There's one final segment that we did for fun, but as always, if you appreciated this video, make sure you're subscribed to the Adam Mockler feed below and check this out.
So now you each have 30 seconds to tell us, in the spirit of high school reunions, what would you tell your former high school haters? Adam.
I was not the best student in high school. I graduated 4 years ago, but I'd say I'm now on CNN with Abby Phillip. That's what I'd say.
That's a flex.
Oh, wow.
That he graduated 4 years ago is a flex.
Owning people twice my age.
Someone compared Bolton to Trump. Like, you have to understand, like, Trump had probable cause. They had a warrant to go after Trump. They were asking Trump for a long time for documents, and Trump lied about it. Then they did a raid, which was approved by a court. Getting a warrant, these are checks on power that are needed, so you don't just have people going after their political opponents. Like, Trump did do the felonies. He did do them. Like, he did do those things. But you guys are convinced your little special boy Trump was attacked by everyone, so you get to attack the liberals now. But you actually did things that were illegal. And there's a reason Trump never brings anything to a courtroom, because they have no evidence of anything. Please drop a like, follow my page, subscribe. Please drop a like. I might take some calls if you want to call. I don't know. Calls are kind of dead nowadays. I might just do news coverage from now on. Who knows? If you're watching this and you're a liberal, if you want me to keep on talking about liberalness and liberality, please donate to Draw Up Politics and Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. This Draw Up Politics and Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo help me get my actual studio in order. Get an actual studio. Really appreciate it. Let's see. Russia willing to sacrifice millions of its own. Particularly chilling.
President Trump and Vice President Vance weighing in on the FBI.
Again, John Bolton being raided is different because they have no probable cause. They have no warrant to do this. They're looking for reasons to arrest him. And newsflash, if they want to arrest you for something in America, they can find something every American did that's illegal. So having them politicize the DOJ and everything in America should probably scare you, even if you support Trump.
President Trump and Vice President Vance weighing in on the FBI raids at the Maryland home and Washington office of Trump's former National Security Advisor, John Bolton. It's all part of an investigation into possible classified material.
Rebecca Castor joining us now with the very latest. Hi, Rebecca.
Hi, Griff. First off, John Bolton has not been arrested or charged with any crimes, but this is the first step in what could be a long investigation. FBI agents spent hours searching for evidence at his home and D.C. office Friday, and in an interview with NBC, the vice president confirmed they were looking for potential classified documents.
What's at the root of this? Is this
Oh, do they have a warrant? Where's the warrant?
Classified documents?
Well, again, I'll let the FBI speak to that. Classified documents are certainly part of it, but I think that there's a broad concern about Ambassador Bolton. They're going to look into it. And like I said, if there's no crime here, we're not going to prosecute it. If there is a crime here, of course, Ambassador Bolton will get his day in court.
Bolton was fired as Trump's national security advisor during his first term and became an outspoken critic. The president says he didn't know about the raid ahead of time, but can relate.
Yes, his house was raided today, but my house was raided also, called Mar-a-Lago. They went through everything they could.
They'd have to unseal the warrant before you know more.
Including my young son's room. And
I'm pretty sure after Trump was raided, didn't they unseal the warrant like pretty quickly? And you can see which judge actually signed off on it too. Not yet unsealed, but confirmed. Okay, so it says Bolton had a warrant.
My wife's area, so, you know, so I know the feeling. It's not a good feeling.
And back in 2022, Bolton had a lot to say about that Mar-a-Lago raid.
I don't think he cared about the classification system. I don't think he appreciated the sensitivity of this information. Some days he liked to eat a lot of French fries. Some days he took classified documents. He wanted them. Why did he want them? Because he could get them.
A senior U.S. official says this probe was first launched years ago, but was shut down by the Biden White House for political reasons. Griff, Charlie, and Rachel, back to you.
Thank you, Rebecca. So one of the interesting parts about this whole thing, first of all, when they raided Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence, rifled through Melania's underwear drawer, went into Barron's bedroom, mind you, they had Hunter that they still had.
Okay, so, let's see. Trump was told for a long time about classified documents, and here's the big thing that I was saying before yesterday to someone. Trump had a chance to reveal classified documents. The reason that like Joe Biden and Mike Pence were both not like raided in the same nature that Trump was is because they worked with the Justice Department like right away. They brought back the classified documents. They cooperated. There was no need for a raid. But Trump lied about it for months and months and months. He lied about it, so there was still probable cause after that. I believe Bolton was not given any chance to cooperate at all. So that seems to be and the rhetoric as well. The fact JD Vance says, for example, like JD Vance says we are opening an investigation into Bolton. It's not supposed to be we. It's supposed to be the DOJ, the Justice Department. They're supposed to be somewhat independent from the presidency. But in this administration, everyone works at Trump's orders. Trump has signed executive orders to tell the Justice Department who to go after in a politicized manner. But you can't be surprised. I mean, Cash Patel was confirmed, and he had an enemies list coming in. So they had to know this was going to happen in some sort of political sense. All right, we rounded that one out. Trump is a socialist. All right, that's my claim. I'm calling you back, person. My claim is Trump is a socialist.
Hello.
Hello. This is the political show. What's up?
Oh yeah, I love you, buddy. That's all. Just have a great day, man. You take care, all right, bro?
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Have a good day. Nice. That's called good content. We tried really hard to get a caller. We tried so hard. We tried so freaking hard, dude. Blue state governor grilled on opposition to DC crime.
Let's bring in Maryland Governor Wes Moore
Crackdown.
to the program. Good morning, Governor. Thanks so much for joining the program.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, Governor, I'm so glad you decided to come on the program. I know you care about your community, and I care about mine as well. And I'm hoping that
Wes Moore is awesome. All right, Wes Moore is a very sexy man. Very strong, very intelligent. He served.
we can get to some resolutions on how we can come together to make this happen. I want to bring you to one of your cities in your state, and you're a neighbor to Washington, D.C., and we know the actions that the president is taking right now. When you look at the numbers right now, the most dangerous cities list, Baltimore is on number 4 of that, and when it comes to the murders, it's number 3. Now, I know you have been surging resources to Baltimore.
Wait, Memphis, St. Louis, and Detroit. Why is there no National Guard in these cities, in states that voted for Trump?
And
Why?
investing in the police there.
I don't
but
get
you
it.
don't like the actions that the president is taking right now. Why?
Well, you know, when I came in, I said that the number one priority that we had as administration was to make sure that our communities were safe. You know, before I became governor, for the 8 years before I became the governor, Baltimore City went 8 straight years of 300 plus homicides. The year before I became the governor, Baltimore City averaged about a homicide a day. And I said, I refuse to be a governor who's going to spend my time offering eulogies and giving thoughts and prayers, that we actually had need to have resources and coordination that was going to help to fundamentally address the problem.
Jack said because they're not overran with crime. Those states, St. Louis has a crime rate like triple that of DC. Like St. Louis, Memphis, Tennessee has a much higher crime rate than DC. What are you talking about? Mike Johnson's district has a city that has twice the crime rate of DC, the violent crime rate, the homicide rate of DC. You just don't know facts because you voted for Trump. So
It's people of my state have learned. You know, I don't come from a political background. My background is I'm a soldier. And so what we did was we made historic investments in local law enforcement, that we invested over $50 million in the Baltimore City Police Department alone, that we made historic investments in technologies and predictive analytics. And
imagine Donald Trump saying the words, "We invested in technologies and predictive analytics," after saying I'm an actual soldier, from that perspective, and having an actual plan and a way to coordinate the plan to solve issues. Imagine watching this person speak and then going and saying Donald Trump is a more intelligent, tougher, stronger, better leader.
Saying if someone commits a violent crime, particularly with a firearm, I want them in handcuffs in 24 hours. And saying that we made historic investments in our community groups, working with the mayor, working with our county executives, working with the community groups and our violence intervention and violence interruption groups to.
Oh, I see the issue. Trumpers want to create conditions where, especially black people, for example, in cities, have no opportunity, have high stress environments, are still living in communities that were redlined and suffer from historic issues from systemic racism. I know that's a really big term that makes you guys piss your pants and shit yourselves. He says here, for example, Wes Moore wants to do things that prevent crime, that help people, give them a better, a more fertile soil to nurture in so they don't have to turn to crime and so they can get the help they need, okay? He wants to actually make the communities better and decrease crime and make America better that way. But the Trumpers, they want to bring in the military and have a North Korea-style dictatorship. Choose wisely. Which way, Western man?
Making sure we can stop crime before it happens and making sure we don't have this retaliatory cycle of violence. And while I know that we still have more work to do, I also know this, is that despite the fact that the year before I became the governor, Baltimore City, again, had a historic streak in violence, that now that the last time the homicide rate was this low in Baltimore City, I was not born yet. So we're making real progress where Maryland is now amongst the fastest dropping states in this country on violent crime. There's ways you can do this, and you have to be able to make sure you're using the right tool to get to the right result.
You know, Mr. Governor, you're right. Y'all have.
No, this is not. When they say Republicans are tough on crime, Republicans are so tough on crime. They just say they want to kill people and use the death penalty. This is just intelligence. They just don't like the intelligence, especially if it comes from a black man.
Made progress, but there's still some issues there. And this is a
You have made progress, but there's still some issues. So let's send in the military.
And this is what they said in the Baltimore Sun. A 77-year-old woman from Curtis Bay who asked to remain anonymous due to threat levels she's received from drug dealers on her block compared the morning drug traffic to a fast food drive-thru. When a real estate agent assessed her property about a month ago and a half, she said that the agent told her he can't sell this house with that, referring to the 10 or 12 people in.
I know, bro, I'm from a 90% Trump district that has the same issue with 99% whites. It's a poor people. It's an underserved community issue. This happens in some level everywhere. It's still not justification. I know you children, you dumbass, pathetic pants shitters, you diaper shitters. You know, Donald Trump's a diaper sniper. Shout out Jelaine Maxwell for clearing my boy's name.
Involved in the drug market, loitering across the street.
It's still not justification for sending in the military.
I'm going to get hurt one day. I know I am, she said. But the mayor responded this way, Governor.
I'm sure you read the article in the Baltimore Sun yesterday talking about how so many Baltimore residents don't recognize their neighborhoods anymore. What do you say to those residents of Baltimore who may think that citing falling crime statistics glosses over some of the harsher day-to-day realities and needs that they have to their lives in Baltimore, need for things to...
You know what? We are working on it. The world's not perfect. You can't say this as a politician, but the world's not perfect, believe it or not. You want to be a part of the solution? That'd be great. The world's not perfect. Someone's going to struggle somewhere. We want to make the world better. We're going to do things to make the world better. We cannot have a zero crime society. It's impossible unless if you have a dictatorship. And you still have crime, but the government just does all the crime, like North Korea or China or Russia.
Change even further in terms of just regular drug trafficking.
Yeah, so we're only having that discussion because the president is having that discussion. And this, I want to be very clear. I didn't read the Baltimore Sun article. I don't read it because they're a part of the president's propaganda machine.
It's not, and that's true. And it's not going to get headlines or clicks to send someone out there that says, wow, my community has gotten so much better. I feel safer on my morning commute. I feel like we have a better city governance where we work together with Mayor Brandon Scott as a community to solve these issues instead of us being cut out and the police just coming in to, whip asses instead of us actually making a better schooling system. They're never going to bring up the good stories about the positive things, the productive things happening in America. Everyone is a pessimistic loser in America, and it doesn't get clicks. It gets clicks to be negative. It gets clicks to be super sensational.
So, Mr. Governor, I know people go back and forth in the pop.
That's why, like, Republicans think all the liberal states are super violent if you walk through them. If you actually go to these states and spend more than a week in them, it's a completely fine time. Completely fine. And I thought this before. When I lived in a red area growing up, I thought blue states, I thought I was going to die the moment I stepped foot in one. Then I got older and actually saw it with my own two eyes, and I'm like, oh, this is not bad at all. But on Fox News, all they show on the media is violence, violence, violence. You would think every corner of the city is infested with violence, and you have zero chance of walking through it without being beat up and killed and robbed and raped or whatever. But that's just not the reality. Is there crime? Yes, but you don't got to be pissing yourself every 2 seconds.
Politics and Donald Trump and all this. But this is what the locals are saying. This is not some partisan thing.
Well, I mean, my heart breaks for that woman in Curtis Bay. And it breaks for anyone who does not feel safe in their own neighborhoods and in their own communities anywhere in the state of Maryland. And I think the people...
Dude, it's a good way to attack that. And I wish Republicans would stop cutting these programs that are working. If she feels unsafe, join us. We are making this better. Republicans want to cut down on the programs that are working. That's a good way to flip it too. Yeah. And this, I hate politics.
People of the state of Maryland know and have seen through our actions that the number one priority that we have is making sure that people can feel safe in their own neighborhoods, in their own communities, and in their own skin. That we're making sure that people who commit crimes, that they are held accountable for the crimes that they commit, but also that we're improving better systems that are making sure that they are also accountable to actually focusing on rehabilitation and helping people get back into the community with a real pathway for long-term success. And so whether it's a person in Curtis Bay or whether it's a person in Catonsville, they know that their governor is prioritizing their safety.
Pardon my interruption, Governor, but the people of D.C. feel the same way. The people of Philly feel the same way. I'm just curious why you've been so critical of the administration trying to solve this problem. Is it the process that you don't like? Because it looks like they're doing the same thing that you're doing, which is surging resources to the city.
It's because I'm proud to be the 63rd governor of the state of Maryland, and I'm honored to be the commander-in-chief of the Maryland National Guard. I stand with the remarkable men and women who have raised their hand, these citizen soldiers, who frankly are trained to fight and win our nation's wars. The people who, in times of emergency and in times of crisis, that I have the unique authority and the unique ability to mobilize them, and where I have done so as the governor.
Yeah, but they can say, well, everything is a crisis. Everything is a crisis that needs to be solved right now. Anyone that looks at history at all, every single rising dictator says there's a crisis, needs to be solved instantly. All right. Every single issue we find, we can even create issues. We have to bypass our laws, bypass checks and balances, bypass our constitutions, and attack the problem 100%. We have to do a final solution to all crime. Now that is it's a utopian fake vision of the world, which leads to a authoritarian government, but it sounds appealing. Like, why not just rip it off like a Band-Aid? It's a perfect world. It's so easy, guys. All we got to do is have the military everywhere in America, and we're going to be safe. Like, dude, we could have no crime at all. But tell a conservative we could have no more gun violence to take away all guns. They would say, hey, that seems it's against our Constitution to take away guns. And it's like, yeah, buddy, that's the point of the Constitution, because it seems like these are easy solutions, but there's, negatives and positives to every action. And you have to be able to be a big boy and understand that. Please drop a like, comment, subscribe. Yay. Fine, I'll talk to one of you people.
Hello.
Hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing much. How are you?
Pretty good. Yourself?
I'm doing all right. Shooting some hoops today,
Nice.
Thank you. Yeah, what's up?
No, I was just calling to talk about, you were talking about Trump and the DC takeover.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think in DC it's a pretty good idea. I mean, the crime's definitely up, and we have they're under investigation for cooking the books, so I think it's not a bad thing, and I think the public thinks it's a good thing.
80% of people in DC do not want military takeover of DC.
Is that a recent poll? Do you have a poll to cite?
Yeah, I can look up the poll, but all polling has been between 60 and 80% of the people that are against what Trump is doing. Now, they say they want safety, but they know that the government doing whatever they want in the streets with no checks or balances or restrictions on power is much more dangerous than any criminal could be.
I mean, I can agree. What I will say, though, I think with DC it specifically, I mean, it is all legally done. It is constitutionally, it's legal.
Yeah, but Trump said he wants to send in the National Guard into 19 more blue states. He wants to send in the actual military. And right now, even like 10 red states, which have their own cities with higher violent crime rates than D.C., are sending their National Guard to D.C. So all those things are kind of crazy. Here's a poll from Politico. Politico and Washington Post, and they both have around 80% of people, around 8 in 10 Washington, D.C. residents are opposing Trump using the federal government in this manner.
And you brought up St. Louis, right, which is run by a Democrat mayor.
It's in a red state, so the red state there, if they really wanted to, they could use the National Guard.
Run by Democrats.
The state is Republican. If they had an issue with they could send the National Guard into the city, though.
The city isn't. It's run by Democrats.
Yeah, but we're talking about the National Guard being used, right? We're not talking about the cities. That's a different conversation. We could talk about D.C. crime, for example, and talk about D.C. policing or St. Louis policing. But if they want to justify using the federal government and the military and Secret Service to go after D.C., and let's say Louisiana or another Missouri or one of these red states, they're sending their National Guard to D.C., but they have crime rates in their own cities, like Memphis, Tennessee, that has a homicide rate that's like triple what D.C.'s is. Why would they not use the National Guard in their own cities if they think that would work?
Well, I don't think they're going to allow it because they're run by Democrats.
No, regardless. The National Guard could be used in these states regardless.
D.C. specifically, though. This is all legally, it's all constitutionally, it's federalized.
I'm talking about why they're doing what they're doing, where they're doing it, and the repercussions of that, and why they decide to go after D.C. and not their own states. Why are they talking about D.C. and San Francisco as these super high violent crime rate areas in these blue states that just happen to be big areas of votes that Trump is going to want for the 2026 midterms? And why aren't they going after any red state? Why aren't they even going after blue cities and red states? It seems a little bit weird.
No, I mean, I can agree with that. I think I'm okay with just the D.C. thing. Going further than that, I mean, it can get a little murky, but I don't see an issue with the D.C. thing because it is our nation's capital. We have leaders coming. It's like when Newsom cleaned up, California for the Chinese communist leader to come in, and just for him and then nobody else. And it just proves that we can clean up these cities and we can stop crime.
Are you against Trump inviting Putin to the FIFA World Cup?
I mean, if we can solve the war, maybe. I don't know. I mean,
no, nothing about the war. He just wants to invite him. He pulled up a picture of them yesterday, him and Putin, and he said, he said, I look good in this picture, but Putin looks even better than me, Trump said, and he invited him to the World Cup because he's his best friend.
I think we can put blame on both sides, but I mean, we can admit, though, the Democrat Party, they lost the election. Instead of coming more towards the middle, they went further left. Now we got.
Wait, I'm talking about Trump and Putin. No, about Trump and Putin, though. Why is Trump saying Putin looks sexy and that he wants to invite him to the World Cup?
Why are you saying that? You just said some guy, what was his name? You said he looked sexy. Some black guy that was talking on Fox News. What was his name?
Yeah, I mean, that's Wes Moore, but still, again, Trump and Putin. Why is Trump pulling up a picture like a fangirl in the Oval Office of him and Putin walking together, saying he looks better than him, and inviting Putin to the World Cup when they just bombed a U.S. company yesterday?
Why are you okay with this country just
Can you
crime?
Wait? Can you? Hey! This is what you do. This is what you do. All right. Can you respond to the point? You lost the point, though, right?
We were talking about crime-ridden cities and Democrat policy.
Well, you brought up Newsom and China, but last time I checked, China did not bomb an American company yesterday in Ukraine and kill a bunch of Ukrainian civilians. And we're inviting Putin gladly as fans to America for the World Cup.
Actually tried to stop the war in Ukraine. It was just, let's give weapons. No peace talks, nothing, no more. They didn't do secondary sanctions. They did nothing.
Trump has not done that either. He has not done secondary sanctions.
Not doing secondary sanction because at that point there's no room for talking.
Why would you want Democrats to do it, but you don't want Trump to do it? Wait, why would you want Democrats to do it but not Trump? Why would Democrats do it but not Trump? Why are there different standards there?
Why would Democrats do what?
Secondary sanctions. You said it'd be good if Democrats did it. You're mad at them for not doing it, but you're.
I said they didn't do it, but now you blame Trump because he's not doing it. But he's actually trying to stop the war, stop the killing.
No, but you said Democrats didn't do it as if that's a bad thing they didn't do it, and Trump's not doing it either. So you don't care that Democrats didn't do it? You brought that up.
Not doing it now is my point. They're saying, why hasn't he done this? Why hasn't he put sanctions? Why didn't they do it? Why
they did
stop the war?
do pretty heavy sanctions.
Anything?
There could be criticisms of everyone in the world. Now, for Democrats,
you're right.
we're in full support of. Yeah, everyone does something bad, but we talk about like Democrats versus Republicans. Since Trump took office, Russia's attacks of Ukrainian civilians has quadrupled. It went up 400%. So obviously, when Trump got in office, they viewed us as weaker and Ukraine as weaker, and they started killing more civilians than ever before. And Trump is inviting Putin to the World Cup now.
Definitely possible, but again, this war didn't start under President Trump.
Yeah, it got worse under him though. So if he was president, it still would have started.
First, we're actually meeting with them. We're trying to come to the table and come to some sort of agreement to stop it.
Wait, so okay, if Russia just bombed an American company and are killing 4 times more Ukrainian civilians now after Trump did his little dick sucking competition with Putin, like why would that? Why do you think that works then? It seems like it doesn't work to give Putin appeasement and to make him happy if they're still killing American, bombing American companies and bombing Ukrainian grandmas and kids and maternity wards.
So let's say Russia doesn't adhere to anything Trump said and they keep going further. What is your solution? What do you think you should do?
So, like, the last thing we should do is justify Putin's propaganda and try to force Ukraine to give up, all of their territory so far, which is what Trump has floated. What's that?
Should we put boots on the ground?
No, but we should never legitimize Russia or welcome them back into the world economy until they stop. Even if you don't want to fund Ukraine necessarily. What?
I said I agree with that. I don't think we should welcome them back in, but I'm saying, what would you like him to do? That's what I'm curious. What would you like him to do?
So, like, when I think he should tell Russia America is not helping Russia with anything at all until they meet with Ukraine in person. Now, Ukraine has agreed to multiple ceasefires. Ukraine has showed up to different countries, including, I believe, like a few times in Europe. There's been there's been a few summits where Putin was supposed to come with America, and then Ukraine said they're coming, and then Putin backed out of it multiple times. So if Trump can actually, yell at his boyfriend Putin in the proper manner, and because what the American president says does matter a lot for legitimacy. So if Trump's going to say, like, Russia fought really hard for this, and we don't know whose fault it really is, and if Trump, like right now, he's blaming Zelensky for there not being peace. He's making it seem like Zelensky is the reason there's no peace, as Russia is increasing bombing. So that could be a good start if we get our facts straight. We have to have facts first before we make any decisions as a country.
Yeah, and I'm trying to be respectful. When you're talking dick sucker, this, that, and the third. I know.
Oh no, for Trump. No, you're not Trump though. You're not Trump. I'm not saying you are.
I'm not. Keep it civil to the point where he is still the president and all this other stuff. But
no, not really. I mean, he gave Ghislaine Maxwell a minimum security prison sentence away from a high security prison because she told the reporters.
Talk about that. That's a perfect swing. Okay, why didn't the Democrats, with the exact same information, ever talk about releasing the files and doing anything? Why didn't the
Democrats ever talk about why didn't the Democrats ever attack that at all for Trump? Why didn't they
try to release the files? Tell me.
So under Trump, Epstein died, right? When Trump was president, Epstein died. All right. So then they say there's no clip of it at all, no video of it at all. Trump says that, right?
No, we're talking about the Democrats. They had 4 years, 2020 to 2024.
Okay, we're getting a timeline. We're getting our facts straight. So Trump said there was no video of Epstein dying. There was no video of Epstein dying, right? In 2019, they said the Trump administration said there's no video of it.
You can spin it. We're talking about the Biden administration. Why didn't they?
Okay, I'm getting there. I'm getting to the point. I'm getting there. Okay, to get the facts straight. Okay, get the facts. Under Trump, they had Epstein die. They said there's no video of the Epstein prison at all. Okay, then under Biden for 4 years, you're right, nothing was released. They never promised to. They never said they would. Trump said he would. But even withholding that, now Trump's in office again, all right? So Trump in office, Epstein dies. He says there's no recording of it at all. Trump gets back in office after 4 years of Biden, and apparently they have a video now. And in that video, it's altered. There's 3 minutes cut out of that video. Why was there no video when Trump was in office? And now there is a video. Could Trump have perhaps hid that video? Why is there a video now all of a sudden? After Trump said there was none in 2019.
Trump wasn't president for 4 years. He hid it, and it was gone for 4 years, and now it's back.
Or they made a fake one or something. I don't know. But Trump was president when this stuff came out. Now I do know under Biden, Ghislaine Maxwell was put in a high security, maximum security, I'm pretty sure, federal prison. And now under Trump, Ghislaine Maxwell is doing pottery and crafts and ceramics and petting dogs and doing yoga in a minimum security prison. So why is Trump giving Ghislaine Maxwell? Why under Biden did Ghislaine Maxwell get a high security prison, and now under Trump she gets reduced as a favor to a low security prison?
That's false. That is not true.
Yeah, look her up. She's at Club Fed right now. It's the cushiest federal prison.
Go to high prisons, no matter who's president.
She was at a high security prison. She was literally at a high security prison. They had to sign a special waiver because usually convicted sex traffickers can't go to this prison she's at now. You could look this up.
I'm gonna take you at your word. So when Trump came in, what happened? So he came in. He's like, hey, you know what, Ghislaine? You're going to lower security or medium security.
Okay, what happened first is the Epstein files were a conversation. The Trump administration said, first off, Pam Bondi. When Trump took office again, Pam Bondi said they were going to release all these different files. They just had to go through them. And then they released a few weeks later. The FBI said we have nothing at all on Epstein whatsoever. And Trump did a press conference saying, "Who cares about Epstein anyway? Let's move on. No one cares. Who cares about this Jeffrey Epstein guy? Who even cares about this loser?" And then after that, Trump said they're fake. They're not real at all. Then he said they are real, but it's a Democratic hoax. And then more information came out. And then we got that reporting of the book, the birthday book of Epstein. More proof of Trump and Epstein being best friends because they were best friends.
The typewriter, right, where they didn't show the actual birthday card. They had no proof. It was all hearsay and no proof at all. The Washington Street Journal put that.
If there's no proof, Trump should actually sue them. Trump should sue them. It seems like they have good sources though. But Trump can sue them. They can do discovery. Yeah, that'd be really cool. I agree. They should.
So there's this debacle. All of a sudden they release that birthday card. Come on.
Do you think the Washington Post would release that without good evidence when they can get sued for millions and billions of dollars?
Why would have other media platforms been sued for doing the same exact thing?
Trump sues everyone, right?
Calling Trump a rapist. What's his name? I forget his name.
Do you think Trump sues everyone? He sues everyone.
Called him rapist. You know what I'm talking about?
Trump sues. I don't care, but Trump sues everyone.
Called him a rapist, which is not true. He was never found
a racist or a rapist. Yeah, he was found of rapist. Of raping, yeah.
No, you're wrong. You're lying. He was found.
Yeah, the judge clarified that the same judge. You don't know. That the judge clarified that in common parlance.
Criminally wrong, civilly.
The judge clarified that when you're talking about it in society, we use the word rape for what Trump did. Now he didn't get charged with that, but the judge did clarify that. Like the ABC, they would have won that case if they would have taken it, but they didn't because they needed.
Talking about civil case.
Yeah, ABC never should have settled, but they did because Trump pressured them.
You know his name.
I really don't care. The point is, now that Trump's in office, he got pressured on Epstein files. He said we can't release any of it because some people might get hurt and some people are innocent in there. He seems really scared whenever he talks about it. And now all of a sudden, Ghislaine Maxwell. Now Ghislaine Maxwell is in a minimum security prison, and there's a quote from her out today or yesterday saying that Donald Trump was never seen in a bad position, in an inappropriate position with any minors. The same thing she said about Jeffrey Epstein. So why the hell, if Trump is president with the DOJ and Cash Patel and Dan Bongino, why would Trump need to go to Ghislaine Maxwell and give her a sweetheart deal for her to speak on, to try to clear his name if he's not involved?
No, I understand what you're saying. What I will say is this. Why wouldn't the last administration release this information when they tried to put him in jail for 700 years? They made 33 misdemeanors and one unnamed felony and turned that into 34 felonies.
No, there were 34. There were 34 counts of financial. It was a financial fraud. Those were 34 felonies. They still were.
This information on President Trump?
Wait, are you saying Trump did one felony?
No, I'm saying they had 33 misdemeanors and they had one unnamed felony. And the jurors asked, why does this have no actual, there's no case on it, there's no naming on the felony.
The results of the case are public. But regardless, the Biden administration, like when Trump politically attacks people with the DOJ, that's not normal. I mean, Joe Biden is criticized all the time from the left because he did not go after Trump at all for January 6th until the very end. So there's big criticism on Biden for not being more aggressive at Trump. But there's a chance like Ghislaine Maxwell is going through court. So I mean, maybe releasing information at that time. Maybe releasing information at that time would have jeopardized putting Ghislaine Maxwell in prison. I know Trump wants to get her out of prison, but at that time she was going through the process.
How do you know? Curious. How do you know that?
Know what?
That he wants to get Ghislaine out of jail. How do you know that?
Because she's asking for a pardon, doing what he wants. If she threatens to bring him down, they'll probably give her a pardon.
Wants to get out of jail, they're gonna do whatever it takes.
Yeah. So why are they going to her? Why are they going to a known? Okay. Why are they going to a known liar and convicted sexual trafficker of children for their allyship? Why are they looking for her, an ally in her of all people, and rejecting the victims?
Go to for the information. Who is there to go for?
There's a bunch of information they could release if they wanted to right now.
even Epstein, one of the Epstein lawyers even said Trump was the only person that cooperated and talked to him on the phone. One of the only ones. Why would Trump openly?
Oh, that's not true. I saw that. I don't think that's true. I looked it up the one day
What
because
I'm
I tried
saying
finding
though,
it.
like, why would Trump run on releasing the list if he?
Well, he
knew
didn't
he
really.
Why
His
would he
fans
run
did.
on that?
His fans did.
Why
Trump
would
never
he-
really talked about it.
No, they asked him. They said, "So you would release?" Yeah, I would release it. You know.
He
It's
said
definitely
no,
something
but he said okay. They asked him about the files of JFK. He said yes. About MLK, he said yes. And then Jeffrey
MLK,
Epstein,
yeah.
he said yes, but not as much. I mean, some people are in there who might be involved. We don't want to hurt them by accident. So he knew something was in the Epstein files versus MLK and JFK. He's a little worried about
Why
that.
would you make that a campaign promise if you're guilty? And you don't think after
He
all the
didn't
things
bring it up.
weaponized DOJ
I mean, he says a
after
lot
Trump,
of stuff. He said he wasn't going to
talking
cut
about
Medicaid. He said he wasn't going to be a socialist. He's a socialist now. He's seizing American companies for government ownership. Like, he's doing a lot of things he lied about.
He's keeping Medicaid alive. We are $37 trillion in debt. We can't afford to keep illegals and people that are able-bodied on Medicaid.
Okay, so I'm a policy guy. So in Medicaid, that what you just said right there makes up around like 0.05, well, not 0.05, but like 0.5% of the Medicaid budget. But we're going to be cutting a much larger chunk of it. It's going to cut Americans off Medicaid.
5% is able-bodied adults and illegal aliens. 0.5%.
No, like yeah, very small percent, very small percent. Able-bodied adults is probably less than 2 or 3.
If they need it, is that what you're saying?
No, so like in a system like Medicaid or even like food stamps, for example, we would say if there's a 97%, if 97% of recipients are using it right, we would not cut the program and risk hurting those people. We would let the 2% use it wrong, and most of the frauds by companies as well. But like Trump is still cutting the numbers cut for Medicaid is still a cut there. If we care about the national debt, the big beautiful bill is increasing our national debt by more than any president's bill in American history. And Trump did that for tax cuts for the wealthy, and no one really cares.
It actually helps the middle class as well. There's no tax on
Going
debt.
in more debt to give tax cuts for the wealthy helps the middle class. I thought that was bad.
So let's go back then. You love to criticize Trump. How did Biden address that? How does your last president address that debt?
So as far as what we spent money on, our debt.
$151 billion. I'm sorry, in 2023 alone to illegal aliens. Just that one simple thing.
I understand you hate immigrants. I understand you hate immigrants. I know you don't like immigrants. It's fine.
No, you didn't listen. I said illegal.
No, you don't. You don't like immigrants in general. You just don't like immigrants in general. No, you just don't. Because like in America right now, one of the least interesting things. No, I mean you can let me respond to you. I didn't say that, but okay. So under every year of Biden, our national debt decreased. Biden tried raising taxes on the wealthy, tried doing a bunch of stuff. Now the actual policies Biden did, most of them were paid for. So like the Inflation Reduction Act, the Chips and Science Act, it gave us the biggest boost in manufacturing spending in American history. And Biden had a big burst in American companies making batteries and chips and semiconductors and stuff like that. We had huge investments into green energy, and we were building a huge. We put money into our roads and bridges. The biggest infrastructure bill in American history. Trump said his first term, infrastructure week. We're going to do infrastructure. Trump never did. Biden actually got that done. So Biden got it done, and his our national debt under Biden decreased every year since Trump left. So Biden did decrease the debt. It didn't go to the debt didn't go down, but it decreased.
Trump left office. What was the inflation rate?
I'm not really sure.
It was 1.9%. 1.9. It got up to 9% under Joe Biden. Record inflation.
So in America, we had the best economy during the COVID. I know people don't like hearing that, but we did do better than Europe, for example.
That's not an excuse. We had 9%.
I mean, we were still first place. If we have a race, though, if we were in a competition of recovering from COVID, America did the best under Biden than any country did. We did better than any other country. We did way better.
7 million illegals in 4 years. We had about 2.2 million every 4 years prior to that.
I mean, I thought we were talking about the money, but okay.
No,
I know you got to get back to immigrants. You don't like immigrants. I get it.
Yes, I don't like immigrants, yes.
Now, when we talk about the money, the final thing, though, when you look at the money, they say it's all going to illegals, for example. If we have people coming and looking for asylum processes, if someone's here illegally, they're not going to be getting that money. People looking for asylum in America would be receiving some type of support when going through their court process. Now, you can change that law if you want to, but we can't call them all violent, illegal terrorists like Trump does and say they're all evil people because they're really not.
Never once said that. But
No,
I
but
didn't call
Trump
him
says that, and you're a Trump rider, so.
He never called them violent terrorists. You can't even pull that up if you tried. He never said that.
Yeah, I mean, the Alien Enemies Act was literally him saying that. He said they're invading us, and we have to remove them with no due process and torture
That's
them.
like Congress. It's actual law. If you don't like it, change it.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah, the justification of that, what is the justification that you can use that law? It's for invading terrorists from other countries. Yeah, it's an invasion from another if we're going at war with the country.
Into our country, knowing we have open borders. It's pretty simple.
We never had open borders either, but okay. All right.
11 million illegal aliens. That's not open borders in 4 years.
No, that was encounters as well. That was not actual. That was not the number of people that came in. But regardless, we did not have open borders. We have asylum laws. You could say they're too loose, but we have laws.
So was the asylum abused or no?
The what?
Was asylum abused or no?
It could be for sure. You could change, but you have to change the laws for that. Like the border bill that was gonna.
Country illegally, or you don't get deported. You have to change the laws. Democrats didn't do that. They could have done that too.
Democrats deport a lot of people. Obama was called the deporter in chief.
Obama was the deporter in chief. Thank you. You're right. You're right. Why isn't he?
So you're an Obama fan? I thought you said Democrats don't deport people. I didn't
say they don't deport people. I never said that.
I thought you said people don't get deported. I mean, they deport a lot of people. They're nicer to immigrants seeking asylum, but.
I said you let in 11 million illegals. I never said they don't deport.
No
people.
one was let in. No one was let in.
He actually deported a lot of people.
They weren't let in.
So I'm pretty sure
we did not have open borders.
Go up to an ICE agent.
Trump tried using the military. I mean, or Biden tried using the military. Biden tried a lot of stuff at the border. He tried passing a border bill too that Republicans did not pass. The border bill would have changed a lot of our laws. Biden tried pushing for a border bill. Republicans voted it down after Trump told them to. So.
No. Elizabeth Warren said you needed Congress to change it. And what do you know?
Yeah, you do.
Also, let's go to bipartisan.
To do it legally, yeah.
That bill you talked about, that was the foreign aid bill. 17% of the funding for that entire bill went to our.
Now, after I say this next thing, you're gonna feel stupid, right? Remember you said that. Okay, so look up those bills. All the foreign aid passed in a separate bill after they voted down the border bill, because people bring this up as a talking point all the time, but you don't do your research. So, but yeah, all the foreign aid passed already, but we just didn't pass the border part.
And you take shots like a typical Democrat. But go ahead.
No. I'm just saying you don't know your facts. If you're offended by that, it's fine.
Dummy, nothing.
I didn't call you a dummy. I just said you're gonna feel dumb because you didn't do your research.
Like a dumbass. I know you don't.
Okay, so now you have new information. You have new information. All right, you know that the border bill also. You know that the foreign aid already passed in a separate bill. Now, do you wish they would have passed the border bill?
No, I don't, because it allowed up to 5,000 illegal entry, or some 5,000.
No, 5,000 encounters. 5,000 encounters, not entries. It would have given an actual number for shutting down the border, which we don't have right now.
17% of the money went to our actual border. How the hell is that a border?
I just told you that was not true. I just told you that's not true. I just told you all the other funding passed. All that other funding passed. I'm not pulling it up right now. We know for a fact. I do this every day. You don't know. I do. You can look it up after this, and you can verify me. Everyone in chat can verify what I'm saying right now. That was passed in a separate bill. I know because Bernie Sanders was speaking about the Israel funding. The next after the bill was rejected with the border control. But again, so if I'm right though. You still are going to keep saying this. It doesn't matter. So I defeated every point about that.
I know about the bill. I looked it up. Only 17% of the money went to our actual border. It went to Ukraine, Gaza. It went to Gaza.
Why did they not? You know that the actual Republicans in the Senate literally said that the reason it didn't pass is because Trump told them no, to not pass it because he wanted to run on the border.
It was a good bill. It had nothing to do about actually protecting our border.
The most Langford from Oklahoma, the most Republican, the most conservative on the border member of our Congress wrote that bill. It did a lot for Republican priorities. That would have been like the Republican Obamacare.
Conservative, okay.
That would have been like the Republican ACA. I'm just saying. No, I'm just saying that bill. If you care about the border and you're against that bill, you don't care about the border. You don't really care about it.
I mean, yeah, I guess so. I guess I don't care about the border.
Well, yeah, because you don't care about the laws, yeah. Because you could illegally stop asylum like Trump's doing right now, but that's illegal. If you care about laws, then yeah. But if the government's doing something illegal,
you guys would be hurling bricks through ICE agents' windows and attacking them.
Wait a second. How many people? Wait. I never did that. Who are you talking to? Who are you guys? I don't know. I don't know anyone that did that.
guys say about me storming the Capitol. It's usually what you say,
Wait,
right?
did you storm the
Same thing.
Capitol? I never said that. Did you storm the Capitol?
It's the same logic.
Wait.
You wrap it
So
all
you use
into
dumb
one. My
logic on
point- I
purpose?
didn't say you. I'm talking about the Democrat.
No, my thing
representation.
is,
That's
so
what I'm
if you have an issue with people coming over the border because it's illegal for some of them to do it, you should probably have an issue with the Republicans shutting down the border illegally as well, and you want them to pass a law for it. Because I care more about the government doing illegal things versus random people. I think it's more dangerous for the government to do illegal things. But you are a government
I
cuck.
agree. I want them to pass.
No, you're
actual
not. You're not. You're not. You're not. They were going to pass actual legislation that you would have liked, but you think you don't like it because Trump told you not to like it because you are a cult member. Not
No,
really.
he
You're
didn't
just
tell
you're,
me.
you're not a cult member. You're not a cult member. You're just really you're gullible. You're not a cult member though. I can tell you're not a cult member. You're smarter than that. You're just a little gullible, a little silly. Hey, I appreciate the call.
Yeah.
No, I really do appreciate it. I know I busted your balls a little bit, man, but I really appreciate you being
Hey, bust the balls. I'm
being willing
trying
to
be respectful.
engage.
You know, you just keep
No,
going.
I appreciate it. No, if you call into my show, that's gonna
You
happen.
have a great
But-
day. Good
Yeah, I hope you too.
conversation, and I hope you have a great day.
All right, have a good night, man.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you for $5. Thank you so much for $5, Porsche. Thank you so much. Please consider donating to Drolla Politics. I really need the support for this channel. Really do need the support. Drolla Politics and Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. That's not the right graphic. Where is it? Subscribe or go to rehab, I guess. I don't know. Where is it, dude? What did I do with my graphic for my PayPal? I'm going crazy. Did I put it somewhere else? I'm just dumb. I did something with it. Whatever. There's my Drolla Politics and Cash App, PayPal, or Venmo. Drolla Politics. Thank you for watching. Subscriber rehab. Oh, here you go. Drolla Politics. Okay, I'll take one more for tonight. Please subscribe, drop a like on the page, join Discord in my channel description, on my channel page, all that kind of stuff. Join Discord. Thank you for joining. 67 likes, appreciate it. He went to name calling over and over again. Stop crying. Who cares? Yeah, you voted for Trump. You really care about name calling. Can you stop being hypocrites at least? That'd be kind of nice. He called me name. He called me mean name. Because I'm stupid.
The subscriber you are trying to reach is not available. Please leave your message after.
No. I'm not leaving a message at the tone. What's going on here? What's going on here, guys? Brought to you by Jelaine Maxwell. I love doing pottery in my pottery class, for my ceramic class. Thank you, Donald Trump. Sheep collar. Yeah, I got $5 from a car. I am exhausted talking about politics. It is exhausting talking to these people. But I have a calling. My calling is being suicidal. I'm just kidding. That's a joke. I can't say that on YouTube. Oh, God. Wait. I gotta... I can't say that. Bye. Bye. I never said that. Oh, God. Okay, I'm ending the stream, actually. I'm not even kidding.